Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to Before Coffee. It is International Day of Older Persons Day. So we're going to start celebrating International United Nation Days when they happen, because we need to focus on aging with dignity. Something Rog has already been working on, I'm sure. Welcome to Before Coffee.
What's this dignity you speak of?
Yeah, welcome to Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look at the news 10 to 15 minutes before we start without any caffeine. It's Good Tuesday Day. Let's look at those good news headlines. Today on Before Coffee, inflation in Europe falls below 2% and opens the way for faster rate cuts.
And Jimmy Carter turns 100 today, and Tony Hawk and Kurt Cobain become grandparents.
Hip, hip hooray! Stranded cruise ship finally leaves Belfast.
We talk about the record-breaking stock market rally, and in the world's first, stem cells reverse woman's type 1 diabetes.
This is how we brew it. Euronews covers a cultural guide to coffee on International Coffee Day.
Yes, it's International Coffee Day, but it's National Taco Day. That's right, it's Taco Tuesday, October 1st, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Everyone loves a Taco Tuesday, and also with a side of coffee. Nice strong espresso to really get your entire digestive system running. It sounds like
get you all jumpy first thing in the morning.
You get your coffee, you get your beans and your taco, and then you just having a great time in the bathroom next day. Okay, let's talk about inflation. I know, not as a fun segue to talking about numbers going up and down. This is coming out of Frankfurt on AP News by David McHugh. Inflation in 20 countries that use the euro fell to 1.8% in September, below the European Central Bank's target of 2%. Nice. For the first time in more than 3 years, as falling energy prices give consumers relief from a burst of inflation that at one point reached into double digits. And a reminder for everyone out there who's not into economy, those 2%, 1% is not just like a tiny little incremental increase, okay? It's pretty exponential increase. So if you get to double digits of inflation, that is like a quadruple increase of the price of the euro and how much money you have to spend and how much it doesn't go, right? So instead of being able to buy, a can of soda for $2, now you have to buy it for $5 or something. It's ridiculous. Inflation is bad. You don't want it. You want to keep it low so, your euro can be spent for more things instead of just, I had to spend my entire paycheck on one meal because inflation's so high. I can only buy one meal with my paycheck. Tuesdays, which is today, October the 1st, official figure coupled with an anemic growth outlook could pave the way for faster interest rates cuts from the ECB, which has already trimmed rates twice. Inflation fell from 2.2% in August, according to European Union statistic agency Eurostat. The last time inflation hit the ECB's 2% goal was in June 2021, when it was 1.9%. Economists have started to consider the possibility of a rate cut at the bank's October 17th meeting, which the European Central Bank, they mean. A few weeks ago, the expectations were that the central bank would wait until December before lowering borrowing costs again for consumers and businesses. The bank must juggle the need to make sure inflation is under control, which would mean waiting longer to lower rates against concerns over slow economic growth, which would argue for swifter cuts. Wait until Christmas, because people were spending all their money. All that extra money everyone's been saving up is going to be used. They just can't avoid it. Higher central bank interest rate benchmarks combat inflation by raising rates throughout the economy, making it more expensive to borrow and spend. That reduces demand for goods and pressures on prices, but that also slows economic activity. The ECB, US Federal Reserve, and other central banks rapidly raised rates to combat a burst of inflation that broke out as the economy rebounded from the pandemic, draining supplies of parts and raw materials, and after Russia invaded Ukraine. Now those rates are being scaled back. The Fed cut by outsized half percentage point at its last meeting. The U.S. Fed. The invasion led by Russia to cut off natural gas pipelines supplied to Europe, spiking energy prices there and raising fears that Russia's oil would be lost to the global market. Those strains have largely eased and inflation is now low enough that central banks are cautiously trimming rates to keep the economy chugging. The ECB might not be able to declare a final victory over inflation quite yet. Economists expect inflation to tick slightly higher before the end of this year, and some underlying measures of inflation, such as service prices, are still high enough to instill caution. Bank President Christine Lagarde has said the bank is not committing to a future rate cut scheduled, but will take decisions meeting to meeting based on incoming economic data. Energy prices provided much of the relief in today's figure, falling by 6%. Inflation was below target in the Eurozone's biggest economy, Germany, at 1.8, and well below the target in their number 3 economy, Italy, at 0.8. Wow, that is low inflation. They're also close to de-inflation. They might increase the value of the euro in Italy. Low inflation in Germany, however, is in part a reflection of the weak growth in the economy. The Eurozone economy grew only a modest 0.3% in the second quarter over the quarter before, as consumer spending remains lackluster against a background of unsettling news over wars in the Middle East and Ukraine and reports of layoffs or potential job cuts at major firms. I think also people are just spending somewhere else because it was the holiday season, so they went to Bali or something, and that's where they spent all their money. That's who got the economic growth. Unfortunately,
Jeez, man. Bali got it all.
Yeah, in Thailand. People love going there. Damn you, being a tourist destination.
The suntan lotion manufacturer is just made out like crazy.
But for the most part, it's looking good, so we'll see what happens in the final quarter of the year by December. On to your story.
Okay, good news and good News Day. We are going to talk about, after I cough, we're going to talk about the world's oldest living president, as he sets the record by turning 100 today. Happy birthday to Jimmy Carter.
It's almost like good people live longer.
AP News. I'm sorry?
It's almost like good people live longer.
Right. Jimmy Carter lives to be 100. His wife passed away earlier this year, but Jimmy's still kicking. He's in hospice care. This is from AP News. Thalia Beatty and Glenn Gamboa. A concert in 30 new homes marked Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday, long legacy of giving. A benefit concert and the construction of 30 new homes are among the many events marking President Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday, October 1st. Considering the former president's long legacy of a philanthropist, it's no surprise that he wants any gift giving to go to other people. Well, what can you possibly get a 100-year-old person that they're actually going to use?
Yeah. A new seat to sit on, I think.
I mean, he's a 24-hour hospice care. It isn't like he needs a life alert or anything like that.
For people who are that...
Star-studded concert.
For people who are that old, usually they're sitting a lot or laying a lot, so that the only thing you can really get them is something to, relieve that. So...
Articles of clothing is about it, right? A new tie. Star-studded concert. There was a star-studded concert 2 weeks ago at Atlanta's Fox Theater. Raised $1.2 million so far to support the international programs of the Carter Center, which Jimmy and Rosalind Carter founded in 1982 with their mission to wage peace, fight disease, and build hope. The concert airs on Georgia Public Broadcasting on October 1st, which is today. Meanwhile, thousands of Habitat for Humanity volunteers gathered Monday to build 30 homes in St. Paul, Minnesota over 5 days, led by country music giants Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, who worked alongside Carter for years, beginning with the projects in Hurricane Katrina's disaster area. The Carter's relationship with Habitat for Humanity stretches back 40 years to when the couple went to New York City on a bill in 1984. The image of a president of the United States sleeping in a church basement and physically helping rehab a tenement building captured the world. Jonathan Reckford, CEO of Habitat for Humanity International. The Carters went on to build homes annually for 35 years. Carter repeatedly said that working with the organization was a way he put his Christian faith into action, Reckford recalled. Cleora Taylor, a medical assistant, met with the Carters in August 2018 when they helped build 41 homes in South Bend in Mishawaka, Indiana. Years later, Taylor recalled how the former president greeted her by name and knew about her children, including a daughter who was 11 at the time and has autism. It means so much for me that he knew me, said Taylor, speaking from her living room in the home the Carters helped her build on a street named Carter Court. It's just, he's such a good, welcoming, humble guy. I'm just glad to be part of a legacy that he's leaving behind. Presidential historian Cassandra Newby Alexander, Newby, their maiden name, Newby, professor of Virginia Black History and Culture at Norfolk State University, said the strength of Carter's legacy is in his morality. Unlike many who claim to care about the disadvantaged, Carter has shown that they, and not the power of money, are his main concern, Newby Alexander said. I think he has probably done more personally in his post-presidency than anyone else because he's not out there looking for attention. He's looking to change things. He's not out there trying to make money for himself. He's out there trying to live the life of a Christian, a true Christian, one who cares about the poor and the homeless and the children. While leadership in philanthropy is often gauged by size of donations or heft of assets under management, Carter's giving came in the form of seemingly ceaseless personal effort. From building homes to monitoring elections and pursuing elimination of a painful but neglected disease, Carter used his stature and presence to rally resources and attention to his cause. In so many ways, he set the standard for how presidents should be in their post-presidency. As someone who's going to continue to do good, someone who's going to continue to positively impact society, Newby Alexander said. Carter's legacy of giving back also includes working to eradicate guinea worm, a commitment to the Carter Center has made since 1986. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention had identified the disease as a candidate for eradication after smallpox. Carter took up the mantle, vowing to outlive the last such parasite. To the demise of the worm is the catchphrase, according to Dr. Jordan Tapero, Deputy Director for Neglected Tropical Diseases at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has given $263 million to the Carter Center since 2000, mostly to support its work on the guinea worm. The number of cases has fallen from 3.5 million when the center started to only 13 known cases in humans in 2022, and now focuses on closing the last mile of infections in several African countries. Even after Carter entered hospice in February 2023, Tapero said Carter was still contacting his team. He still wants updates and wants to know what's going on because his mind will never stop until his last heartbeat, Tapero said, speaking in
What a
March
great guy.
2023. Carter engaged directly with health ministries and heads of state to muster their commitment to public health intervention, said Stephen M. Hilton of Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. Since 1991, the foundation said it has committed nearly $50 million to the Carter Center for eradicating guinea worm. It supports work treating and controlling trachoma, a disease that can cause irreversible blindness. Hilton considers Carter to be a remarkable man with a deeply compassionate heart. I feel fortunate to have witnessed firsthand the strength of his character, including his dedication to seeing enormous humanitarian challenges through to the end. So, good news about Jimmy Carter turned 100, and his good work continues in his honor, if not in person. And other good news involving celebrities. There's a short little news article. This is from radio.co.uk. Jerry Mansa, Frances Bean Cobain, and Riley Hawk welcome their first child together. Frances Bean, the daughter of the late Kurt Cobain, and the son of Tony Hawk have shared the news of their baby boy. Cobain shares, that's from a picture. Talking to Instagram, the daughter of Kurt Cobain posted a series of photos with her bundle of, from a caption again. Robin Walker Cobain Hawk, welcome to the world, the most beautiful son. We love you more than anything. A series of famous faces congratulated them in the comment section, with ex-pro skater Tony Hawk and Ronan's girlfriend and Ronan's grandfather, writing, "My favorite grandson." Sonic Youth's Kim Gordon wrote, "Huge congratulations." To Lula Willis, daughter of Demi Moore and Bruce Willis, added, "We love you, Tiny Prince. What a beautiful gift to such special parents. You are loved." REM frontman Michael Stipe, who's Frances Bean's godfather, commented, "With all the love and energy of the whole world." The pair have been dating since 2021 and went public. The pair had been dating since 2021 and went public when Cobain shared images of herself and Riley on New Year's post on her Instagram. So, congratulations to the happy parents. Back to you.
Crazy.
We hope
crazy that there's.
Be happy, damn it! You got a healthy kid.
Yeah. All right.
Don't forget, she's still probably living off residuals from.
Congratulations for new life and I guess continuing life. Is that was that section? Yeah. Speaking of life going on. Is he gonna be a skateboarder or a rock star? There are a bunch of people stranded in Belfast for 4 months, and they're finally able to leave on their cruise ship. So a lot of people are crying because they finally get to go home. This is from BBC. I don't know who it's written by because it doesn't have a person writing it. So they're just letting us know. There were shouts, clapping, and cheers of hip hip hooray as it was announced that a cruise ship stranded in Belfast for the last 4 months would finally leave yesterday on Monday night, which was September 30th. Villa V Residencies Odyssey, which has been outfitted in Belfast, should have departed in May, but was delayed as it needed repairs. Some 125 passengers boarded the cruise liner at about 8 British Standard Time on Monday or yesterday at September 30th, and it left the port just after 11:30, slightly later than its scheduled departure time of 11. I'm sure that 30 minutes was like, oh God, is this ship leaving or not? We've been stuck here for 4 months. Cruise ship chief executive Michael Peterson said the holdup had been related to administrative paperwork. In the dark and rain, the Odyssey slipped out of the port quietly. There was no sign of any passengers on deck. They stayed inside in the heat on a cold Belfast night. Many passengers talked in recent days about the warmth of their welcome in Belfast during their elongated stay. However, as the cruise ship gradually gathered speed down Belfast Low, there was bound to be considerable relief on board that the sunnier cities lie ahead. After Mr. Peterson's announcement on one passenger ran outside to see the ship in the repair yard from where its funnels are visible and shouted, "There's smoke!" Speaking to BBC News NI, Northern Ireland, before boarding, another man said he was absolutely ecstatic when put to him that he had a long wait for a ship to set sail. He said, "Here's how I calculated. It's exactly 4.5 months since we said we were leaving, which is half a pregnancy, and it's a beautiful baby," he said while uncharacteristically speechless to see the ship pull into the dock. "I'm in love with this moment," he said. Another woman said she felt excitement, but not excitement because it's been such a long thing coming. It's more like about time. She said she loved Belfast, but it's looking forward to experiencing some warmer weather. "I love the city, love the people, but I don't like the weather," she said. Later, passengers made their way up the gangplank in rain as Belfast's cruise terminal. There were shouts of "Goodbye Belfast" and waving as they disappeared on the Odyssey for their round-the-world cruise, which many will last for years. Oh, so they paid a lot of money. That's why they didn't just go home. They were like, I've been waiting for this cruise. I've paid thousands of dollars to get on this cruise that's going to go around the world. So, I'm not leaving. Passengers of the Odyssey had been living in hotels and rental accommodation in the city while the vessel was made seaworthy. The ship anchored off the coast of Northern Ireland overnight and is expected to set sail again on Tuesday, if it doesn't break down. On Sunday, some passengers, which was the 29th of September, some passengers celebrated what they hoped would be their final night in the city by taking in the sights on a beer bike tour. Leslie Curtis, who lived in Seattle before embarking on the cruise, said she knew Belfast so well that She was helping other tourists with directions. The blessing of the delay was really been a lot of us have been here, she said. I have been here pretty much for 4.5 months and we've all gone close. We've run all over the place, Leslie said. She was staying at a hotel but planned to spend Monday getting ready for the departure. I'm going to go to my cabin. We've got to be there and we're going to party, she said. Becky Cressy, who was from sunny Florida, left with one souvenir, an umbrella. We are just excited to start this and get going and wave goodbye to Belfast, but you guys have been amazing and we're gonna miss it, Becky said. She attended a local church in Belfast over the past 4 months. There's really been good days, not so good days, and just going there and meeting them. Having their support has meant a lot, she said. So many people have, somebody brought their cat. Oh, look at this. Holly Hesney from Florida has been traveling with a 6-year-old Siamese cat, Captain. They have been in Belfast. They have had to move 6 times, staying in hotels, an apartment, and Airbnb. Holly said she had been living a normal life while in Northern Ireland. I'm living here now. I'm okay. I guess I'll move to Northern Ireland now. But why was this ship stuck in Belfast? Villa V Residencies Odyssey arrived at Queen's Island in Northern Ireland capital to be outfitted before it was scheduled to leave on May 30th for the first leg of its cruise. But until Monday, September 30th, the ship was stuck in Belfast due to problems with its rudders and its gearbox. Those are pretty important for moving a boat. The vessel had some final inspections to pass this week before it was signed off to sail. The unexpected layover in Belfast has cost the company millions of pounds. Yeah, I'm sure they had to pay for all the passengers who were stuck in Belfast. They didn't say whether or not other people gave up, I guess, or took some sort of refund, but from the few people they interviewed, it looks like they're just happy. They had a nice time in Belfast for 4 months, and now they're off to the rest of Europe and the world, I guess, as they sail around the world. They make wonderful memories. So good job, good luck, and have a good trip.
Right on.
That's your story.
Faded. Well, you keep skipping out on me. Okay, so from that to more good news. We're going to talk about diabetes and stem cells. This is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network. And world's first stem cells reverse woman's type 1 diabetes. I can eat sugar now. Okay, scroll. I can eat sugar now, says the woman. The woman from Taizheng, China, recently became the first human to have their type 1 diabetes cured through a stem cell procedure. Using the patient's own stem cells, the results offer hope of limitless treatment options for the type 1 diabetes, whereas special insulin-producing cells were previously needed from a donor. Unlike type 2 diabetes, which can develop through poor diet and lifestyle choices, type 1 diabetes develops on its own in certain humans. Type 1 diabetes is classified as autoimmune disorder, as the immune system attacks its islet cells in the pancreas responsible for producing insulin, a vital metabolic signaling hormone that instructs muscle tissues to absorb excess glucose and other sugars out of the bloodstream. Treated with extraneous insulin and a mixture of immunosuppressants, the only thing like a cure is an islet cell transplant, for which there are not anywhere near enough donors to meet the demand. Instead, Chinese researchers reverse engineered the patient's own tissues to produce a pluripotent stem cells, which they then chemically reprogrammed to form islet cells. Once transplanted, the researchers, whose first subject was a 59-year-old man, observed he was producing his own insulin within 3 months, and after 4 months had a glycemic range that was 98% similar to that of a non-diabetic. James Shapiro, transplant surgeon and researcher at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada, told Nature Press that the results of the surgery are stunning. They've completely reversed diabetes in the patient who's requiring substantial amounts of insulin beforehand. In this more recent case of the young woman, The cultivated stem cells were injected during the surgery into the abdominal muscles, a new introduction site for the procedure. Previously, donor islets were transplanted into the liver where they couldn't be observed. By contrast, in the abdominal tissue, the islet cells' activity could be monitored with an MRI machine. 2.5 months later, she was producing enough insulin to live without needing top-ups, and she has sustained that level of production for more than a year. That's remarkable, said Daisuke Yabe, a diabetes researcher at Kyoto University, who wasn't involved in the study. If this is applicable to other patients, it's going to be wonderful. In this woman's case, she was already taking immunosuppressants for a previous liver transplant, and so the researchers can't confirm whether or not the new islet cells could be subject to the same autoimmune response as before. Generally, medical researchers want to see years pass of normal function before acknowledging that curing took place. The woman will reach a 2-year mark in November. She's still experiencing normal glycemic activity. Cell biologist and lead author of the research, Dr. Deng Hongku of Peking University, Beijing, wants to expand the trial to between 10 and 20 people. So good news on diabetes. If you're born with it, it's not a death sentence. You can get treated. And we're going to talk about more good news. We're going to talk about this good stock market. This is from CNN.com. Totally changing gears. We're going right to the stock market. From health to the stock market. What fueled this week's record-breaking stock rally? From CNN Business, Crystal Herr, H-U-R, Herr. The stock market is racking up its record highs again. Investors are wasting no time moving into riskier assets from Bitcoin to tech stocks after last week's long-awaited rate cut from the Federal Reserve. Last week, the Standard & Poor's 500 and the Dow surged to new highs after the Fed said it's cutting interest rates by 0.5 point and marking a pivot from the aggressive hiking cycle that brought rates to a 23-year high. CNN's Fear and Greed Index, which measures 7 barometers of market sentiment, is at a greed reading. Fear and greed, you gotta love it. That's what drives these people. Fear and greed, 2 of the most negative emotions you can think of. Strong economic data this week has kept this party going. The S&P 500 on Thursday marked its 42nd record high close in 2024, while the Dow marked its 32nd record high close for the year on Friday. All 3 major indices notched a positive week. The Dow gained 0.6%, S&P 0.6%, and the NASDAQ climbed about 1%. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge, showed that prices consumers paid for goods and services rose 2.2% last month on an annual basis, down from 2.5% in July. The reading was below expectations from economists polled by FactSet and is a step closer towards the Fed's 2% inflation rate. 2.2, lower than 2.5, inflation going down. Right in time for election. Fresh data this week has offered further encouragement that the economy is on solid footing. Third estimated second quarter gross domestic product showed that the U.S. economy expanded at a solid 3% clip from the prior year. What seemed to be unfolding before our eyes is a soft landing scenario that only the most optimistic could dream of, wrote Gregory Dacko, chief economist at EY in a Thursday note. A soft landing is a scenario in which inflation comes down without the economy entering a recession. Elsewhere, the average rate on a standard 30-year fixed mortgage fell to the lowest since September of 22 this week, according to the Freddie Mac data, providing relief for Americans stung by the tough housing market. Applications to refinance mortgages soared 20% last week from the prior week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association data. The housing market is known for being sensitive to the ebbs and flows of the economy. Investors are now looking to the September labor market due next Friday. Employers added an estimated 142,000 jobs last month, up from July's dismal number, while the unemployment rate ticked lower to 4.2%, offering hope that the labor market is weakening but still on solid footing. With the Fed's focus now squarely on keeping the labor market healthy, Friday's report will likely offer clues for the Fed's next move at its November policy meeting. Meanwhile, tech shares continued to gain this week on rate cut optimism and strong earnings from Micron. Nvidia shares jumped 4.6%, Tesla rose 9.3%, and Meta platform shares added 1.1%. What's going on at Tesla? It's a big jump. In China, stocks ripped higher this week after a central bank introduced a package of measures aimed at stimulating its struggling economy, including lowering interest rates. Oil prices fell for the week. The national average price of gas is about $3.21 at Gas Buddy. The Financial Times reported Thursday, citing anonymous sources, that Saudi Arabia is planning to scrap its $100 a barrel price target for oil. So Saudi Arabia is going to be dumping oil in it, probably going to drive down gas prices, and of course that helps with inflation. Gold futures retreated from a fresh record high reached Thursday, the latest in a string of records it has set this year. Gold has not repeated record highs this year, driven by central bank buying of the yellow metal and worries about the U.S. economy's health. That's silliness. People just buy gold because they're greedy. I don't think there's anything that's signaling. It's just one of those things that just keeps going on. Anyway, Bitcoin popped this week. The price of the cryptocurrencies were last trading at about $65,747 a coin. So go ahead and speculate on that pie in the sky stuff if you want. I think it's going to crash. There's your good news on this week, Good News Day.
On pies in the
stock
sky.
Market and business in general is good. Back to you.
Okay. Well, it's International Coffee Day, according to somebody somewhere. So we're going to talk about. I still haven't found a source. Yeah. Wikipedia says it's today. The International Coffee Organization says they agreed that October 1st was International Coffee Day. So I guess it's the International Coffee Organization.
So it shall
and they've
be.
decided, let's celebrate today. So has Euronews. David Morquan from Euronews Culture is also celebrating International Coffee Day. And today is of all days, the time to be living La Vida Mocha. Because it's not a David Morquan article for not doing puns. Happy International Coffee Day, a day dedicated to the promotion and celebration of that magic varnish remover that gives you the jolt you so badly need in the morning to get you through the day. Whether you like it black, au lait, iced, or like several members of the Euronews Culture team are partial to a café bonbon, a shot of coffee with condensed milk at the bottom, coffee takes center stage on most days. That said, the International Coffee Organization wishes not only to champion the Go Juice, but to promote fair trade coffee. What's fair trade coffee? Slavery wasn't used in order to acquire these coffee beans. Mostly. That's basically what it means. You know, we paid people to get these beans, and we didn't just steal them or give them 2 cents, because that would be modernized slavery. Buying something for really cheap. It's basically modern day slavery. This year, it's been about embracing collaboration for collective action, as the organization highlights the often unseen collaboration that brings us our favorite cup. On International Coffee Day 2024, join us in celebrating the power of collaboration by drinking a cup of coffee and tell everyone what coffee means to you in our shared journey. So I guess comment down below what coffee means to you. Euronews Culture is doing just that with their very own journey that anyone can take, a cultural guide to drinking coffee. So while you're enjoying your very own Frapper's Delight, consider the following music, films, and series, books, snacks, and facts that can potentialize your cup. Yeah! D-Man loves coffee, and so I like coffee. I don't love it, but I like it. So, what's the best song to listen to with your coffee? Well, it's Otis Redding's Cigarettes and Coffee. Let's see if I can play a little bit of this. If you can, oh no, you can't hear it because I've muted my output. I don't know if you can hear it all unless I talk during it. Yeah, no, I don't think you can hear it because I have a sound filter on. But that's a nice soul album of drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. An oldie but a goodie. Plus everything is a good excuse to listen to a soul legend like Otis Redding. Released in 1966, this beautifully simple but effective song about a man and a woman chatting over late night coffee and cancer sticks is a tailor-made for enjoying your jitter juice or whatever time of day. Cancer sticks. It's early in the morning, about 2:45. I'm doing my best Otis Redding impression here. I'm sitting here talking with my baby over cigarettes and coffee. There you go. There's your... Here was Otis Redding. Or the things I do on this channel. Essentially an ode to simple things in life and how we need to remember to enjoy what some foolishly dismiss as trivial. This song is also about the moment when you realize there's nowhere else you'd rather be but drinking cigarettes. Drinking cigarettes, I did it again. Drinking coffee and smoking some cigarettes. And I've got you, and you've got me. We'll have each other, and we don't want nothing but joy, y'all. Nothing but joy. Included the song. A coincidence that joy is indirectly equated to coffee? We think not. Another great song to listen to is, of course, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. Pronounced with an ES, not an EX. It's not espresso, it's espresso. Thank you. I think Italy. That's an Italian word. There are so many coffee songs out there. You wouldn't begrudge us a second pick, would you? See if I listen to Espresso. There you go. She's getting rubbed on a beach. But from Ella Fitzgerald's Black Coffee to Bob Dylan's One More Cup of Coffee via Blur's Coffee and TV, the Beastie Boys' Intergalactic, I Like My Sugar with Coffee and Cream. Oh, just because I say that Intergalactic is a coffee song? Okay. The options for a second pick were numerous and difficult. But it's 2024, and considering that their first pick was a classic from the 60s, let's talk about a recent timely release. Sabrina Carpenter's hit song is one of the most streamed tracks of the year, and it deserves its inclusion on this list. After all, no song in recent memory has done for coffee what espresso has, on top of reminding everyone that it's not espresso. See, I already knew the joke David was going to tell before I told this joke before you told it. The summer earworm could be interpreted as equating that feeling of being so attracted with someone to addictive and sleepless state caused by caffeine. At least, that's what Euronews culture is going with. What's the best film to watch with coffee? That could be anything else, but Heat! The infamous diner coffee between De Niro and Pacino. There's a Holly Golightly drinking from a takeaway coffee cup in the iconic Breakfast at Tiffany's. The scene in Pulp Fiction where Jules is impressed with Jimmy's gourmet coffee. Or Will Ferrell's Jacobim Mugatu throwing his foamy latte all over Todd in one of the best and most homoerotic scenes in Zoolander. But Jim Jarmusch's superb 2003 anthology film can't be beaten. It's a series of 11 comedic sketches which share coffee and cigarettes as a common thread. Starring Roberto Benigni, Tom Waits, Iggy Pop, Kate Blanchett, Bill Murray, GZA, RZA, and the White Stripes. This quirky and unexpectedly poetic film, especially when Mahler gets played, is the ideal viewing companion with your cup of joe. And before you accuse Euronews culture of being sponsored by a cigarette company, considering the first song pick, they assure you they haven't sold out yet. What's the best series to watch with your coffee? Twin Peaks. Watch any David Lynch film and you'll quickly notice that food always has symbolic importance. Nowhere is this more blatant than the seminal TV show Twin Peaks. From cherry pies to donuts, the baguette-administered state of bliss that sends Ben Horn into Faustian ecstasy, and the mysterious garmonbozia. Everyone is obsessed with food, and always means something. Much like asparagus is the harbinger of doom in the series, representing the death of innocence and the dissolution of the family unit, coffee plays an important and frequent role in the show, a far more positive one. It leads Agent Cooper to utter the immortal celebration of coffee that's a dime fine cup of coffee, which he prefers black, like a moonless night. Coffee becomes not only the ultimate symbol of goodness, but also the appreciation of life's simple pleasures. As Coop tells Harry, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it out. Don't wait for it, just let it happen. It could be a new shirt in a men's store, a cat nap in your office chair, 2 cups of good hot black coffee. In Twin Peaks, food and coffee has a direct correlation to the virtues of the characters, and their hero Cooper's childish wonderment when he indulges in pies and sips the cup of Jabba the Hutt Jabba the Hutt is a quasi-religious experience for him and essentially the epitome of integrity and kindness. I am not guilty of these puns. This is David's fault. Lynch has never hidden his own personal love for coffee. He's reportedly a 20 a day man. That's too much coffee. And once launched his very own coffee brand. For him, coffee seems to be an experience, and for his characters, a way to present in the moment. Come full circle, it's no surprise that Otis Redding features a soundtrack of season 3. Of course, much like... Oh, there's so many more things on the list. Let's quickly breeze through the list because we've read enough. What Can You Read with Coffee? Before Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. It's a Japanese author, the story of a cafe in Tokyo that allows us to come to time travel and interact with people from their past, including dead loved ones and even people in the future. You can do this from one specific seat in the cafe and only for the duration of a cup of coffee. Well, that sounds like an interesting read. Another table book browse is Crap Taxidermy by Katsu. It's 96 pages of particularly bad attempts at taxidermy, and it gets funnier as you flick each page. Katsu is also the creator of the website Crappy Taxidermy, and Euronews Culture warns you, once you're there, it's hard to stop scrolling through the terrible taxidermy. Best snacks with coffee? Hard cheese. Yep, that's right. Everything goes with coffee, like scrambled eggs, donuts, bacons, bagels, pancakes, chocolate, fruit of all kinds and sizes. But who could forget the dependable biscuit or the biscotti? Tapioca or rice pudding works too. But for Euronews Culture's pick, they're gonna go with some hard cheese for the perfect pairing. A nice Swiss, a mature cheddar, or a fruity tomo de Aravis, which you combine strong coffee with a nice slice of intense tasting cheese. It's a combination for the ages. You can also have a good espresso marginata, their recommended coffee recipe. Once you're done with a cup of espresso patronum and have a good on your cheese recommendation, the options are endless if you fancy another kick of coffee. Desserts are your go-to: coffee cake, tiramisu, coffee brownies, torta, coffee creme brulee. Before their money's worth, they're baking an espresso marginata. Marigata. I can read. It's a decadent meal ender with layers of meringue and softened coffee gelato, all topped with caramel sauce and some crushed coffee beans scattered on top. Okay, you got me there. I want to eat that too. Let me go make a meringue real quick. It's only going to take me an hour. There are quite a few, but here are their 10 favorite coffee beans. Their 10 favorite facts about coffee. Coffee was discovered in the 1500s by goat herders who noticed the animals eating the fruit and getting all riled up, dancing and unable to sleep. And yes, we say fruit because that's right, coffee beans aren't beans. They're a pit of a fruit, the coffee cherry. The word coffee came from the Arabic word kahwa, which refers to a type of wine. The word became cafe using the Ottoman Turks, and then koffie from the Dutch. Haha, take that. Well, I take credit for that living in the Netherlands. You're welcome. Kopi Luwak is the most expensive coffee in the world. Native to Indonesia, the coffee is roasted after being eaten, digested, and pooped out by the palm civet, a musange native to the Southeast Asia. Because it's naturally fermented through the animal's intestines and therefore has distinctive flavor, genuine Kopi Luwak beans will set you back around 540 euros per bag. Per 0.5 kilograms. That's crazy. Not just David Lynch, who loves his brew. Yeah. Beethoven was apparently obsessed and used to count each bean that went into his coffee. The ideal number per cup for the composer, 60 beans per cup. Alright, I'm going to go do that real quick. I'm going to count 60 and see if I like it. Brazil may grow the most coffee, but the Netherlands, oh wow, we're on the list again, which consumes the most coffee in the world, followed by Finland and Sweden. Speaking of which, coffee was once banned in 18th century Sweden, as the government thought it stimulated radical thinking. No! They're thinking radical thoughts! Take the coffee away! The first home espresso machine was invented in 1938 by an Italian inventor, Achille Gaggia. Think of him today as you make your home brewed espresso. In 2023, the world consumed 173 million bags of coffee. And if you count, Phoebe is the character in Friends who downs the most cups of liquid gold. Now you know. Happy International Coffee Day. And I hope you try out any of these things on this list, like listening to espresso or making that meringue coffee dish that just sounds too good to be true, really. And on to this day in history, since we already talked about International Coffee Day.
All right, we definitely covered International Coffee. Did he mention black coffee by Humble Pie?
No, that one was on the list.
Article. Okay. It was? Okay. I wasn't here for the whole article. I was in the other room for a minute. Okay.
Black
Just checking.
Humble Pie.
It's like, hey, that would have been a glaring oversight.
Yeah.
Black coffee. All right, this day in history. On 331 BC, Alexander the Great of Macedonia defeated Darius III of Persia at the Battle of Gaugamela, spelling the end of the Persian Empire. So Darius III, not so great. Alexander the Great of Macedonia defeated Darius the above average at best at Persia. Anyway, in 1553. With her coronation, Mary I became the first queen to rule England in her own right. The first queen of England was also known as Bloody Mary because of her persecution of Protestants in a vain attempt to restore Roman Catholicism to the country. So they didn't give up on having queens because Queen Elizabeth soon followed on down the line. But Queen Mary I was a bloody disaster, literally. 1800 on this day, Napoleon induced a reluctant King Charles IV of Spain to cede Louisiana back to France. Of course, Napoleon went ahead and sold Louisiana 3 years later to Thomas Jefferson for a bag of rocks. I don't know what he funded his war expeditions with his sale of Louisiana. The Louisiana Purchase, as we called it. In France, they call it the Louisiana Sell-Off. 1890, by an act of the U.S. Congress, I don't know what they call it in France. That's what I would call it. In 1890, by an act of the U.S. Congress, Yosemite National Park, or as defendant Jay Trump calls it, Yosemite National Park, was created, eventually becoming one of the world's most heavily visited national parks in the country. Yes, Donald Trump's an illiterate dope. 1932, during Game 3 of the World Series, New York Yankee Babe Ruth made his famous called shot when he pointed to the center field bleachers. He went, "That guy in center field, take your hat off." That's what he was saying. But they thought he was calling a home run. But he hit a home run in the very next pitch. The Yankees defeated the Chicago Cubs and went on to win the World Series championship. And Wrigley Field, a really small stadium, so it's easier to hit home runs than most. That's also true. 1936, Francisco Franco, who is still dead, became the head of the new nationalist regime of Spain in the beginning of the Spanish Civil War. 1936, on this day, Generalissimo Francisco Franco became a world-class pain-in-the-ass fascist dictator. All right, 1946, the verdict was handed down to the 22 of the original 24 defendants of the Nuremberg trials, a series of trials held after World War II, in which the International Military Tribunal indicted and tried former Nazi leaders as war criminals. Go to hell, you scumbags. 1960, Nigeria gained its independence from Britain, but remained a member of the Commonwealth. They can't make up their mind. But I wonder,
can't make up.
Are they still a member of the Commonwealth? Probably. I don't know.
I think they are. Yeah. It's after the UK lost all its power as like a world power after World War II, they scrambled to try to make something, right, to get more power back. So they made the Commonwealth of countries,
right?
like so Australia, Canada, all of those in there, so they could be like, look, we're still a powerhouse of the globe, but look, we have the Commonwealth.
You can travel freely.
So.
On this day, 1961, American baseball player Roger Maris hit his 61st home run of the season, breaking Babe Ruth's record. 1962, on this day, Johnny Carson began hosting The Tonight Show, and he became king of the late-night television, credited with creating the standard format for TV talk shows.
Then we just have
62 years ago today.
Then we just have the anniversary of the show being made last week.
Yeah, that was with Steve Allen as host.
So they were last week.
That was Steve Allen was the first host.
That's cool. So they replaced them, I don't know,
Jack
20
Barr
years
was the
or
second
something.
host. Jack Barr was the second host. Quit, just up and quit.
Really?
He had mental problems. He walked off the show at least once. Just walked off. Jack Barr quit, and then Johnny Carson replaced him permanently. 1971, the Walt Disney World Resort, a complex near Orlando, Florida, that features attractions based on the stories and characters created by the Disney Company, opened. Happy birthday to the Disney World. Started in 1971 on this day. 1975, and what was regarded by many as the greatest prize fight of all time, Muhammad Ali defeated Joe Frazier after the latter's corner called a halt to the bout after 14 brutal rounds of the Thriller in Manila. That's right, took place in the Philippines. 1982, Congress established U.S. Claims Court, not a U.S. Court of Federal Claims, to handle cases in which the United States is a defendant. In 1994, the Republic of Palau officially became a sovereign state. So another birthday of a sovereign state. 2013, Tom Clancy died at the age of 66. He created the techno thriller, a suspenseful novel that relies on extensive knowledge of military technology and espionage.
And also a range of video games.
2017 on this day. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of video games called Tom Clancy's blah, 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 blah. And you can pretend to be a military person and run around and do stuff. Yeah.
Somebody's making money off his name, but not him, because he died in 2013. 2017, from his hotel room in Las Vegas, a 64-year-old gunman whose name we don't want to repeat opened fire on a music festival, killing 58 people and wounding hundreds before taking his own life. It surpassed the Orlando shooting as the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history.
I'm glad we're celebrating
we don't
that.
Want to keep breaking. So fuck that guy. What an asshole. What a useless piece of shit. Totally useless fucking piece of shit. And why we need to know his fucking name, I have no idea. Featured event, 1949, People's Republic of China established in Beijing, with most of the Chinese mainland held by the Communist People's Liberation Army. Its dynamic leader, Mao Zedong, proclaimed the establishment of the People's Republic of China on this day in 1949. People actually thought Mao was cute. Like I just don't get it. He looks like.
I mean, a lot of people like his revolutionary land ownership.
His Mao suit.
Which was taking everyone's land and saying you don't own land. So a lot of people like that idea right now with how expensive houses are and stuff. Just let the government take all the land and start handing out houses.
Except the people that were made into farmers who didn't want to be farmers. I don't want to be a farmer. You're a farmer. I'm an artist. No, you're a farmer. You're a farmer. You're a farmer.
Being an artist is your hobby.
Everybody here is a farmer. Screw you.
I think everyone should be farmers.
And of course, birthdays today. I'm sorry?
Everyone should be farmers. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, right.
If only I could be hired as a farmer.
Yeah.
Don't think I can get a green card being a farmer here.
Okay. It sounds like a good idea, but it's not. It's absolutely not a good idea. Jimmy Carter's birthday today, we already covered. Other birthdays today, Savaji Ganasan, Indian actor, born in 1928. Richard Harris's birthday today, born in 1930, so he's turning 94 today. Julie Andrews' birthday, she's turning 89 today. Happy birthday to Julie Andrews, British actress and singer. Mary Poppins,
crazy.
The Sound of Music. 1935 is her birthday, so she's turning 89. George Weah, president of Liberia, turning W-E-A-H. That's how you spell his name. President of Liberia, born in 1966. Oh, by the way, I did send you a clip.
I've already got it. You're good.
I did. So, yeah. Okay, so you just play it in its entirety, I guess. National Day calendar is National Green City Day. Yeah, that's right. Celebrate your town turning green, creating more green spaces, putting green spaces on the top of your high rises. With gardens everywhere.
The city green.
Make your city green.
Paint and splatter it everywhere.
It's National Black Dog Day. Yeah, it's National Green City and Black Dog. If you have a black dog in a green city, you're doing good. It's National Black Dog Day. Not the song by Led Zeppelin. Hey, Mom, I said the way you move. Gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
That's the other Led Zeppelin song I know. Yeah, I was like...
That black dog. No, if you got yourself a black dog, like a black lab, it's that dog's day. Every dog has this day, and today's Black Dog Day. It's National Hair Day. Most people have hair, unless you have that disease or alopecia where your hair falls out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have hair somewhere, in your nose perhaps, right?
Yeah. Beard.
Right. So you get hair in your nose, I'll bet.
On your toes.
What?
On your arms. I'm just naming places you have hair. Technically, we're all covered in hair. They're just they're micro hairs.
It's National Hair Day.
Yeah.
It's not National Bad Hair Day. It's National Hair Day. It's National Fire Pup Day. So we got a picture of a Dalmatian. So every dog has this day, and this dog also has this day. So several dogs have a day today. National Fire Pup Day. If your firehouse has a dog, give them an extra treat. And it's National Pumpkin Spice Day, the first official day of people overselling that stuff at every coffee house in the world. Oh, it's National Pumpkin Spice because it's October. I should get on board or be a loser. And it's National Birthdays and Events. I don't know what that means.
Event Planner Day?
Doesn't even say anything. Okay. It just says October Birthdays and Events. We can tell you what national month it is. National Taco Day, which we already covered, Taco Tuesday. It's National Fruit at Work Day. Those are all your days today. Oh boy.
What now?
No, it was just a link to click on here. So those are all your days for today. October 1st, 2024, and before tacos.
Crunchy tacos. Unfortunately, I don't think we're having tacos today, so I have to have it tomorrow or something. But this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. I was just doing my hair real quick. And it is another Good Tuesday in the bag, number 40 here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what your favorite thing to have with coffee is, and if you would stay in 4 months in Ireland because your cruise got delayed. We will see you tomorrow for wacky and weird news on Wednesday. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. Turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we go live. And like this video if you enjoyed all our fun facts that we shared about today. Take care. Stay safe. Don't get too cold or too warm. And let's go at our mic drop moment.
All right, let's do it.
Has propelled
good old
farmer
best president ever president.
The overcrowded pack of Democratic hopefuls, and it seems to be this: Jimmy Carter knows
ITV
and uses
British
all the tricks of the campaign trade.
Elections.
His smile is his trademark. He smiles and shakes hands endlessly.
was
And if there's a vote to be
unknown.
got, Jimmy Carter goes for it hard, even if it means recruiting 5- and 6-year-olds.
5- and 6-year-olds.
How many of you have mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers who are over 18 years old? Okay. How many of you have neighbors who are over 18 years old? Okay. How many of you got friends who are over 18 years old? Okay. Now see, if you ask all those people to vote for me, even though you can't vote, you could get me maybe 20 votes. If you got your mother and your father and your aunts and uncles and grandmamas and grandfathers and neighbors and friends to vote for me, You could get me more votes than an adult could, couldn't you? Could you try to do that for me? I really would appreciate it. And then
I mean,
when
it's
get
pretty
elected,
easy to convince
you come
kids
see me
who
at
to
the
vote
White House.
for. I thought I was supposed to
Front-runner
vote for
status
George
has
W.
come
Bush when
in
I
close
was in
scrutiny,
school, because
and
that's what the
opponents
teachers were
and the
telling me.
all-powerful political columnists here think they
Oh, yeah.
detect an
The
all
teachers?
things to
Wow.
all
Must not
men
have been
weakness
union.
in Jimmy Carter. He admires
Yeah, it was
Henry
messed
Kissinger,
up.
they point out, then says that Kissinger doesn't trust Americans enough. He wants controls on handguns, but not on shotguns and rifles,
Defense
and so on.
industry down here.
Is it intentional, I asked him.
Well, there is a different way to interpret that. I think my stance on civil rights, environmental equality, human rights is a very liberal stance. And that's what's most important
still
to liberal
is.
voters. My
Sadly,
ability
his-
to, manage the
his stance
affairs
is
of
still pretty
government in
liberal.
a tough, competent, conservative, business-like way appeals to conservatives. My farm background, agriculture, would be give me a conservative image. My record on civil rights in Georgia during the integration years is quite liberal, but I don't think there's any incompatibility between the demonstrated capacity for management of government and my deep concern about human needs. To me, there's no incompatibility.
A charmer, most people agree, but a genuine middle-of-the-roader or a do-anything-for-a-vote compromiser. About that, many Americans are not at all sure. Michael Branson, Palm Beach, Florida.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.